Met really wanted to do Bug Bite for some reason, so hello everyone. I
Yeah,
And you
hi
based on the
everybody.
original GoBots design.
We're looking at Bug Bite. Why did they name that out? You would freaking know.
Because he's a GoBot. Who was a beetle.
Wow.
I don't know anything about the GoBots besides their show was
Um,
produced by Hanna-Barbera.
Mighty robots. Mighty vehicles. They were not robots. They were cyborgs.
What?
Leader 1 is actively borderline kind of sociopathic some days.
Okay, well I know the show was created by Hanna-Barbera, and Tonka was
Um,
actually the holder of GoBots. That's as much as I know.
Psykill is not to be fucked with. But also has genuine respect for a good chunk of subordinates. Also, the Starscream analog lasted one episode. Psykill didn't put up with that shit.
That's not that surprising.
And when he got to run a multi-dimensional question column, he made fun of Megatron for naming his faction untrustworthy cons.
What?
Just what-
What's the name of the factions in what is it called?
Robots, the
Yeah, GoBot.
renegades, because they're rebelling against the current governmental system.
And what's the other group?
The Guardians.
No. Oh, then.
He also stole like 6 sparks on the way out of Axiom Nexus.
Huh. That's not worrying.
They were pre-packaged for him, but like, yeah, he then promptly used it to bring one of his, his previously drone combiner to life. He recruited 6 Prime Predacons that he also jury-rigged into a combiner, and 3 Minicons that he upgraded to full GoBot specifications.
GoBot specifications?
Yeah, hand blasters, built-in flight.
Alright. Let's see where this goes.
A new year means it's time for Obscure Characters Month, weekly quickfire episodes looking at lesser knowns and cult favorites. To kick off 2021, if you've watched the new Earthrise cartoon on Netflix and you're wondering what the deal is with that guy who looks like a white bumblebee, I've got the answers in The Basics on Bug Bite.
Alright.
You might be surprised to learn that the character of Bug Bite didn't originate in the Transformers franchise.
I'll be honest.
In fact, he
I
was
didn't know much
created
about
for
GoBots
their rival
before they
series,
were
GoBots,
a thing.
another 1980s toy line that was also about a war between two factions of transforming alien robots, the heroic Guardians and the evil Renegades from the planet Gobatron.
GoBatron?
The figure that would become the original Bug Bite was first released in Japan
Does he have a
in
face?
1983 as part of Bandai's Machine Robo toy line, and was imported by American company Tonka to become part of their GoBots line in 1984.
His face is the windshield.
Specifically, Bug.
But the gun's right there.
The gun is mounted on it. You can remove the gun.
Oh. Okay. Alright then.
Bite was
The
part of
IDW
the
GoBots comic implies that he is Bumblebee's predecessor.
Huh.
Because the IDW GoBot comic is fucking weird.
I'm not that surprised. You could probably make a whole video about it.
Super GoBots range of larger figures. At 5 inches in height, he was about twice as tall as a regular GoBot toy.
Cool.
Bug Bite was a renegade who transformed into a yellow Volkswagen Beetle, an alternate mode he famously shared with the
does
Autobot
in fact look
Bumblebee,
like a
released the
renegade,
same
for
year.
sure.
Bug Bite appeared in a single episode of the Challenge of the GoBots cartoon in late 1985, The GoBots That Time Forgot, in which he was a member of a secret civilization living in the hidden depths of Gobatron, cut off from the surface world.
Gobatron.
He served as the enforcer of this hidden kingdom's evil ruler, Gunner, and helped to
toy designs
brainwash
look
his
better.
subjects so that they would
They're
forget
actually
the
kind of
world
cute,
above.
though.
Until
The faces in Hanna-Barbera are the face and the voice is like, dear God, Scooter is nails on a chalkboard.
Honestly, yeah, some of this animation is a lot sillier than Transformers. Maybe that's why it didn't take off as much.
Part of why it didn't take off was Transformers. You buy a toy, you get a bio, and like you know who this character is. You know how to play with it. GoBots, while cheaper and more in scale, no bios, no anything. If you're not watching the show, you're
So
not
you don't.
getting the
Oh, you don't get anything. Oh, that. Oh,
unless you got the Wendy's toys. Those had bios.
huh.
Not the Windies.
ruler, Gunner, and helped to brainwash his subjects so that they would forget
Okay.
the world above. Until the rebel Dart managed to get a message to the surface, and the
names
Guardians
are very
came
simple.
to bring Gunner and Bugbite's reign to an end. The GoBots toy line ended in 1987, and
Alright.
in 1991, the failing Tonka was acquired by Hasbro, giving them ownership of the GoBots name, characters,
Oh, yeah.
and intellectual property, which
This
would
I heard of.
eventually lead to Bugbite
bought out
being
their competition.
folded into the world of the Transformers. The story began.
They don't really
in
use them, though, from what I
2004,
know.
when Hasbro's Japanese partner Takara released the G1 GoBots, a set of 6 recolors of classic Autobot mini vehicles, available
I see.
exclusively through online retailer eHobby, each one named after a GoBot with a similar alternate mode, including a white
Interesting.
recolor of Bumblebee named
Yeah.
Bugbite. The profile card included with the set made it clear that these weren't just Transformers named after
Wait,
the
I thought they
GoBots.
dropped the
These
names, though.
were the actual
Like, out of fear of reprisal from Hanna-Barbera, they dropped the names, just released the set as Dimensional Explorers after some initial advertising that these were the GoBots.
I guess not, considering they bought Tonka. But yeah.
Well, the thing about GoBots is Tonka has the rights to GoBots. Hanna-Barbera has the rights to the GoBots show.
Doesn't that mean?
Bandai has the rights to the GoBots designs.
That's why they changed the designs, but yeah. That's
Hasbro owns a third of GoBots.
But yeah, they probably still own the toy right to the toy names.
Supposedly.
It's a weird copyright is weird.
Extremely.
actual GoBots characters, an allied team of Guardians and Renegades disguised as Cybertronians, who had crossed over from their universe into the Transformers world to investigate a mysterious cataclysm that was destroying their dimension.
I see.
This story was picked up a few years later by the official Transformers convention, Botcon, which in 2007 offered an exclusive new figure of Bugbite.
Cool.
This one, a white recolor of the 2006 Classics
The head does not
Bumblebee
match
toy.
the rest of the
Convention's
toy, by
exclusive
the way.
comic book, supplemented by a
Alright, then.
prose story released online the following year, entitled Withered Hope, told the story of Bugbite and the
you're
other
not
GoBots'
Withered Hope?
investigation
Dang
of
it.
the
What'd you say?
I was hoping you'd show us the Withered Hope title page too, because I like it.
Oh,
Withered Hope is fun.
do you want to show the title page?
You know what? Sure.
I don't mind looking.
But yeah, basically, the six got stuck in Transtech, who didn't know what the hell to do with these people, and in fact their dimensional traversal technology was fucking alien to the Transtech.
Okay, let me
But
see.
yeah, no, Bugbite escaped from the rest of the squad, committed a murder, and left.
Ah, shit, I went to the wrong page. Give me 1 second.
I kind of like the designs, though. They're kind of cute looking.
Do you mean the new ones or the old ones?
The old ones.
I prefer my leader one with a mouth plate.
Wait, so one of these is leader 1?
No,
Oh.
his toy had a mouth
yeah.
plate. His animation design didn't.
Listen, look at them. They're just little guys. Quite literally.
Oh my god.
Psykill has committed many murders, and he will kill again.
Which one is Psycho?
Listen, I
also
I
not
can
in the picture.
forgive him. I can forgive him.
He's
He's
the
adorable.
renegade leader. He ran a news broadcast segment on the Collectors Club Facebook for a while. He flashbanged the cops and escaped laughing like a lunatic.
Oh, he's perfect.
Oh my god.
cataclysm.
When they made a new version of fucking Bike Robo for the new Machine Robo toys, they included an extra faceplate that makes him look like Psykill.
Of course they did.
Rather than the cruel thug he'd been in the GoBots cartoon, Botcon characterized Bugbite as the arrogant, sadistic science officer of the GoBots interdimensional expedition. As
Alright,
they were
then.
traveling between universes, the group was thrown off course and ended up stranded on the world of the Transtech, a highly
Alright.
evolved race of Transformers who monitored the multiverse. After learning from the Transtech that the GoBots universe was being gradually erased from existence by a rogue splinter timeline,
Alright,
Bugbite
then.
abandoned his comrades and disappeared into the criminal underworld,
Oh,
where
of
he
course.
purchased body modifications that upgraded him into the form of his new toy, and acquired the resources he needed to escape the Transtech's world and head for the source of the cataclysm, the world of the Marvel Transformers.
That sounds like a
comic
bad
book.
idea.
Once there, Bugbite used stolen Cerebro Shell technology to brainwash several Decepticons into his service,
Oh.
then headed for Earth
Yep.
to locate and destroy Megatron, whose actions he had deduced were responsible for creating the divergent timeline that was threatening his home. Unfortunately,
What
the
then?
plan failed and ended with Megatron blowing Bugbite's head off. But when his fellow
think I
GoBots
forgot you,
finally
Bugbite.
arrived in the universe soon after, Bugbite revealed that he was okay.
What?
When modifying his body,
Yeah,
he
remember
moved
where his head
brain
used to be?
into his torso, so that
Yeah.
his
It still is.
Oh.
destruction of his head hadn't been fatal. This storyline was left dangling
Oh, yeah.
for
Look
several
at
years,
them, look
but
at
the
those little
GoBots were
designs.
eventually able to save
my
their
God.
universe
Those are still
in a
just
conclusion
Transformers.
published in
Yeah,
2007.
that's
They're
Warpath right there.
adorable.
However, Bugbite wasn't
That's
in
Warpath
it.
right
He had
there.
abandoned his comrades once again and disappeared.
They're also
between stories.
all these colors. They don't look anything
Other-
like the original GoBots because they're based on a catalog image of mini bots that had different colorations.
Transformers incarnations of Bugbite to have appeared over the years include a
He's got a
mirror
mustache.
universe version of the character from the world of Shattered Glass, and a Creo building block figure in the Japanese
Huh.
Transformers Legends manga. His white, black, and purple colors, meanwhile, would
Okay, in
also
fairness,
serve as
everyone appeared in that
inspiration for
Creo
the
manga.
Botcon original characters Shattered Glass Bumblebee.
Oh yeah, that
and
was gonna be a
Paralyzer.
thing.
The original GoBot Beetle
have
even
Paralyzer.
reappeared in IDW Publishing's 2018 GoBots comic book miniseries. This
Oh.
comic was an alternate retro
So,
style take on
imagine
GoBots,
somebody mixed
separate.
Space Odyssey 2001 with Planet of the Apes, all written and drawn in a style reminiscent of Jack Kirby.
Wow.
Oh dear.
Someone really liked Jack Kirby.
Then set it up to be the origin of the Transformers multiverse.
What?
They heavily implied that Gobotron would eventually become known as the planet known as Diacolon, which would seed multiple copies of itself throughout the universe.
Diaclone as in Primus.
No, Diaclone is in the initial fucking toy line Transformers came from.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I thought you mean, but I thought Primus was called something else in Japan. Anyway.
From the original cartoon that created a whole new mythology for them. It posited that the GoBots were actually the Transformers' ancestors, and that Bugbite was actually Bumblebee's creator,
That's
explaining
weird.
their similarity. Bugbite made an unexpected return to prominence in
Oh.
2020.
He's
with
got a
2
hammer
new
now.
toys and his first appearance
And
in
a helicopter.
animation under the Transformers banner. Flame Toys produced a non-transforming model kit of him, recolored from their Bumblebee figure, while Hasbro offered a new transforming toy of the character in the Generation Selects toy line. This one a recolor of that year's War for Cybertron Earthrise Cliffjumper figure,
Ah, I
but
see.
with Bumblebee's head, released in
Earthrise.
conjunction with Netflix's Earthrise animated series, in which Bugbite appeared as part of a squad of mercenaries hired by one of the alien Quintessons to capture the Autobots.
I mean, to be honest,
By all
Cliffjumper doesn't get a
appearances,
lot.
This incarnation of Bugbite was just a
Because he keeps
regular
getting freaking
Transformer,
killed
rather
off
than
for
the dimension
Bumblebee.
hopping.
I mean, Skybound Comics are giving him stuff.
Yeah.
He pulled off Bumblebee.
Yeah, you just have to kill off one or the other just to have them in it, which is stupid.
GoBot
Honestly,
in disguise. But
I'm glad they killed
we
off
never
Bumblebee.
Did find out what
It
happened.
established the stakes. And I was getting kind of sick of him.
to him after he disappeared all
I
those
know he'll
years
be back.
ago, so you never know.
It would be nice
Maybe
not to
this
have
is
him for a
one
while.
obscure character who's still out there causing
Maybe.
mischief in the multiverse.
You never know.
And those are the basics on Bug Bite.
Yeah,
From
unfortunately, there
GoBot
was
to
never really
Transformer, from
proper
Beetle to
ending
Bee,
for the GoBots
just the
stuff.
first
There
of the
was an
obscure
ending, but
characters.
it never felt proper, and Bug Bite really just kind of disappeared after his stint in the comic.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, instead they brought in the Buggy Man.
The Buggy Man.
The Buggy Man.
Well, alright then. So, I'll say all this. If you guys want us to check out more Transformers, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit all the buttons down there. And, yeah. If you want a lot more content, check out the Patreon. It helps me a lot, and I can keep on living and keep on reacting to this stuff to you, because, well, that's getting hard for me in life, but you don't need to worry about that. Anyway, thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.